Okay, once again, good morning everyone. Our topic for today will about lesson 1 of chapter 1. Chapter 1 is about the role of business in social and economic development. And the first lesson under this chapter is the nature and forms of business organization. Take note, our reference for this discussion is The Business Ethics and Social Responsibility by Rasiles. Okay? So that will be our basis of our discussion. Okay? First, our objectives under this lesson is number one, to define and describe business and business organization. So at the end of this session, you may able to define and describe a business and a business organization. Then the second objective of our lesson for today is identify and describe the various forms of business organization. This is just a recapitulation or review of some parts of your basic accounting, considering that these forms of business organization were already tackled in that particular subject. And the third one is compare and contrast the various forms of business organization. So at the end of this session, we can able to determine the differences and of the different forms of business organization based on the description that I will give to you. And the fourth objective is illustrate the role each form of business organization and economy. At actually no, we are not going to illustrate each form, but instead we are going to illustrate in general sense, no, regardless of what type of business organization is that, para pareho lang din naman yung kaya niyang i-provide or contribution on the economy. Okay, so let us begin with defining what business is. Business is an activity that is part and parcel of human society. That's correct, no? Remember, business is always part and parcel of the human society. In the community, kung titingin kayo sa left nyo, sa right, or your surroundings, businesses everywhere. It is an entity in which economic resources or inputs, ano itong mga inputs na to, such as materials and labor, are put together, okay, for the purpose of processing, okay, goods or services or outputs to customers. So meaning guys, once we talk about business, okay, there is inputs, at the same time there is output. For example, um, school, an institution, an academic institution is a business, okay, even though people will say it is not a business, but in substance it is a business because there is an input there wherein we have this instructors who are the labor, the service providers, and the outputs is the knowledge that the students may have. Okay, can have. Okay, so that's a business. Or in a sari-sari store, that's a business again. No, merong inputs and then later on may outputs. For example, you acquire a merchandise inventory. The acquisition of those merchandise inventory is an input to the organization. Then later on, by selling it, no, to your customers or clients, that is your output. Kasi sinoso mo na siya palabas. Okay, naiintindihan what business is. Okay, so the next slide will be about the different types of business organization that we are going to tackle under this lesson. Okay, we have three different types of business organization. We have the service concerned business, the merchandising business, and manufacturing business. Pag sinabi pong service concerned business, this provides services rather than products to customer. For example, of service concerned business, yung mga law firms, no? Or yung mga accounting firms. Instead of providing products, they are providing their profession. Okay? Kasi their profession is their main product. Okay? Of the business. Okay? Providing accounting profession, of, as a lawyer, IT experts, ano pa ba? Do you think that clinic is a service concerned business? Yes, clinic is a service concerned business considering that the service that the product that a clinic can provide is more on health services. So that is a service concerned business. Pag sinabi po nating service concerned business, these are businesses providing services rather than tangible products to customers. So, ibig sabihin po, yung produkto ng service concerned business is more on intangible na product, no? Hindi po natin makikita kundi nagkakaroon lang, nararamdaman lang natin, okay? So that is a service concern business. Another example of this, no, basic example is yung tutorial services, okay? That is a service concern business, okay? Providing tutorial services to students, which is usong-uso na ngayon, okay? That is a service concern business. Another type of business organization is the merchandising business. Okay? Yung merchandising business sell products that purchase from other business to customer. Pag sinasabi namang merchandising business, we can say in layman's term, this is the buying and selling of goods, no? We buy goods, then later on we sell it, no, at a higher price kasi we need to earn profit, okay, from that buying and selling activity. Basic example, itong mga sari-sari store sa barangay, no? Okay, the sari-sari store, to have to para magkaroon sila ng produkto, they are going to buy or purchase goods sa market, no? Okay? And then that goods na binili na sa market, they're going to resell it, i-resell, ibebenta ulit, pero sa mas mataas na presyo. That is merchandising business. For example, then is ano pa ba, yung mga pharmaceutical companies like yung mga distributors, these are merchandising business. Even though they say distributor po sila, hindi po sila merchandisers. In real sense, these are merchandisers because once you distribute exclusively a particular product, take note, you distribute it, okay, but before you distribute it, you purchase it, you acquire it to the to the supply from the suppliers, and then once you distribute it to your customers, you sell it at a higher price. So that's a merchandising business, okay? Ganun po yun. Ano naman po yung sinasabing manufacturing business? Okay? Yung manufacturing business change basic inputs into products that are sold to customer. Okay. Yung manufacturing business, from the word manufacture, we convert certain product into a to another product. Yun po yung ibig sabihin nun. Okay? For example, um from you are a furniture um, business, okay? Sometimes the furniture company, no, purchase mga lumbers, mga kahoy, okay? Pero itong mga kahoy na to is not yet a furniture. It needs to go a process, okay? And that's the manufacturing process, okay? And then after the process, it will be converted into a different product already kasi naging furniture na siya. Okay? At yung final product, yun yung ibebenta to customers. That's manufacturing works. Okay? For example, laptops. Okay? Si Lenovo yung manufacturer. Okay? They acquire different um, materials in order to manufacture the Lenovo computer. Okay, and then EDS, okay, EDS, Octagon are merchandisers. Why merchandisers? Because what they acquire is a a computer already manufactured by Lenovo company. Mer- EDS or Octagon acquire it at a cost, and then this EDS and Octagon, no, will sell that at a higher price. That's merchandising. Yun yung pagkakaiba ng manufacturing and merchandising. Take note, manufacturing and merchandising, mostly yung kaya nilang ipamigay na outputs are tangible outputs. Okay? Tangible outputs. Unlike on service concerned business, they focus on intangible na mga outputs. Okay? So, yun yung different types of business organization. And then, our next will be on the various forms of business organization. In other books, there are four different forms or yes, forms of business organization. But under the book of Eliza Rasiles, she just provided us three. Okay, namely the sole proprietorship, partnership, and corporation. Okay, from this illustration, we can easily identify the differences of these three business organization. We have sole proprietorship, partnership, and corporation. A sole proprietorship is a business owned by one person only. Kaya nga tinawag na sole proprietorship kasi isa lang ang may-ari. And pag isa lang yung may-ari, siya agad yung boss. That's one difference of sole proprietorship to other different forms of business organization. The ownership. Iisa lang kasi ang may-ari. On sole proprietorship, he is the boss. Kaso, because this is a sole proprietorship, as to his liability, no, unlimited po. Ano po ibig sabihin ng unlimited liability? Ibig sabihin, whatever the proprietor contributed to the business, and in case the business get, no, will be bankrupt, ha, yung liability will not end lang sa assets ng business. Instead, it will go to your personal assets as proprietor. Yun din isang difference ng sole proprietorship to other forms of organization or business organization. So that is sole proprietorship. Yung most common alam natin na sole proprietorship na business is the what we call yung mga sari-sari store, no? Yung sari-sari store natin kasi minsan itong mga sa barangay lang, no, or even yung mga stores na sa merkado, these are sole proprietorship type of business because only one owns the business and the business is registered only by one person under the name of a particular person. Okay, so what is naman partnership? Partnership is a business organization formed, okay, by two or more people, and the owners are called partners here, ha. Pag sinabi pong partnership, this is composed of two or more people. Sir, yung partnership ba can be 100 partners? Yes, because the law provides naman that the the formation of a partnership can be two or more. The term more people is not limited to only 5, 15. It can have at 100 partners. Okay? So, pag sinabi pong partnership, plurality of ownership, no? Okay? Marami kasi yung may-ari. Okay? Pwedeng A, B, C, D, E, F, G. These are partners and every one of them are owners, okay, of the particular partnership. And then another characteristic of this form of business organization is meron din po tong unlimited liability. Okay? Again, ano ulit yung unlimited liability if in case the partnership became insolvent or bankrupt. Pag mabankrupt po iyan, okay, the the liability of the partnership, take note, the partnership is a different person to the partners, ha. Okay, take note, in accounting there is accounting entity principle that the business is different from the owners. So ito rin din dito may apply din po natin yon. The liability of the partnership, which is a judicial entity. Okay, if the judicial entity becomes um insolvent, bankrupt, or merong tawag nating financial difficulty and the partnership cannot able to pay its liabilities, okay, the creditors can run after to the partners. That is unlimited liability. Okay? Another characteristic of partnership is meron pong tinatawag na mutual agency. Okay, what is mutual agency? Mutual agency, we say that this refers to na yung because you form as a partnership and you have partners in the in operating the partnership, you cannot decide without the consent of the others. Okay? That's yun yung isa pang pagkakaiba ng partnership to other business organization. O for example, if you are going to compare partnership to sole proprietorship, take note, under sole proprietorship, even without the consent of your parents, as long as you own that business, you can proceed to your decision. But in partnership, one cannot decide for the partners, okay, okay, or for the partnership without the consent of the others, unless otherwise there is an stipulation or an agreement saying that that those rights are assigned to a particular person. Okay, pag sinasabi ko pong that responsibility to decide on matters related to the operation of the partnership naka-assign na sa isa, pwede yon. Pero general rule, under partnership, one cannot act without the consent of the other. Okay? Yan din yung isang characteristic ng partnership. Okay? Then, the last form of business organization is the corporation. What is a corporation? A corporation is also a judicial entity. However, its creation is provided by law, and it is separate and distinct from its owner. Ibig sabihin, you as shareholder, okay, pag shareholder ka, owner ka kasi ng isang corporation. Your personality, as shareholder is separate and distinct from its owners. Okay, and it is continued existing is depend on the corporate statutes of the state in which it is incorporated. Okay, um sole proprietorship is not governed by any um statute, while partnership merong mga batas na dapat sundin, particularly on the obligations and particularly on the contract of partnership. While corporation naman, guys, okay, it is created because of the operation of a certain law. Okay? And and the the ownership of the ownership, the share of ownership of a particular person to that particular corporation is separate and distinct from the owners. Okay? Ibig sabihin po nun, once you are a shareholder, your personality is different to the personality of the corporation, because the corporation has its own personality because of an bakit nagkaroon siya ng sariling personality? Because of an existing special law. Okay? And it will continue to exist pero it will depend on the corporation statutes. Okay? Now, take note, usually under the Corporation Code of the Philippines, the corporations incorporated here in the Philippines may have an existence only up to 50 years pero renewable yon. Unlike on the sole proprietorship and partnership, yung life niyan unlimited. Okay? Unlimited kasi it it will depend on the partners or on the proprietor kung kailan titigil ang negosyo. Under corporation, okay, because the law provides that the existence of a corporation shall only have 50 years pero renewable. So, hindi po siya unlimited. Limited po yung life ng corporation because of the existing provision of the law. Another characteristic of a corporation is that unlike sa partnership, the decision is dependent on the partners. Ibig sabihin, a partner cannot decide without the consent of the others. Diba? That's the general rule. Under corporation, the stockholders, okay, can decide. Okay, pero his decision will be limited only to his shares. For example, pag gusto ni shareholder A ibenta ang kanyang shares, okay, pwedeng hindi na kunin yung consent ng ibang shareholders. Yun isang example na hindi pwede na kunin yung consent ng ibang shareholder para pagdesisyonan mo yung shares mo. Okay? That's another characteristic. Then, under corporation, the corporation is not totally the operation of the corporation is not managed by all shareholders. Usually, they have what we call the board of trustees or board of directors, which is responsible on the operations of the business organization. Sa sole proprietorship and partnership, the sole proprietor is responsible for the day-to-day operation, while the partnership, all of the partners are also responsible in the day-to-day operation. Pero pag corporation yan, it is the board of trustees or board of directors responsible for the day-to-day operation of the particular business organization. Okay? Pero sir, how about on the selection of the board of trustees or board of directors? Well, because board of trustees and board of directors are selected within the shareholders, all shareholders will decide on that. Okay? Meron pong mga parts on the corporation that needs the um confirmation of the shareholders, all shareholders, at meron naman pong mga activities that does not require the affirmation of the shareholders. Okay? So, those are the various forms of business organization. Okay. Yon, no? To summarize, okay, comparison and contrast. Okay, summarize ko yung pinagsasabi ko kanina on the different forms of business organization. We can say that the three different business organization can be compared in five different things, no? As to ownership, kasi yung ownership, iba-iba. As to decision making, iba-iba din. As to liability, iba-iba din. No? Yung first two, unlimited liability, while on corporation, limited liability because once the judicial entity or the corporation maging insolvent, cannot capable to pay its liability, yung mga creditors cannot run after with the shareholders. Instead, saan mag-exhaust doon po sila sa properties of the corporation, considering that the corporation has its own personality. As to taxation, meron din po silang pagkakaiba-iba because under sole proprietorship, it will be taxed as his personal income, while as to taxation, no, okay, um partners are taxed, no, um the 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 partnership is taxed as well, pero as to income, no, pero as to the share, it will also be taxed, no. Okay, as to agency, yung corporation, guys, no, na-tax din, pero iba yung tax rate on the corporation at iba rin naman yung tax law for the shareholders, particularly on dividends na natatanggap ng um ng shareholders. At isa pa ring comparison pala na hindi ko naisulat is as to sharing of profits and losses, no. In in sole proprietorship, only one person will benefit from the gains and then will shoulder the losses. But as to partnership, all of the partners will gain, okay, will benefit from the income, and all partners will also, okay, incur losses kasi i-share po yun sila, unless otherwise an agreement, okay, is made that one of the partners will not be um will have losses, pero it is violative naman for the violative naman po yan sa batas, no, that this order is mutual agency, but in terms of losses, hindi po pwede, hindi si isang partner naka-incur ng loss, if the partnership incur losses, hindi pwede ma-absorb ng iba. Parang violative po yon. Okay, as to agency, o yon, no, in sole proprietorship, wala pong agency doon. Ibig sabihin, the proprietor is not an agent of the business, no, the sole proprietorship na business. As to partnership, all partners are considered agent of the partnership, while on corporation, um, wala pong agency na makikita on the part of the shareholders, because the agent of the corporation are the board of directors, the president, the chief executive officer are the most common agent of the corporation. Okay? So yun yung dun po natin isa-summarize yung comparison and contrast of the different um, business organization. Then lastly, okay, role in economy. Actually, the different types of business and classes of business, whether it is a sole proprietorship, it is a partnership, and a corporation, and whether it is a service concern, a merchandising concern business, or a manufacturing type of business, all those has a contribution on the development of our economy, because if there are businesses, we can able to create jobs. And then second is there will be a general welfare or socio-economic development. General welfare in a sense that business organizations, okay, will be, no, will provide welfare to the public. For example, providing jobs to them, providing health services, providing goods, okay, those are one of the role, no. Then socio-economic development, another purpose why businesses is is needed, no, for the economy, because it will develop competitiveness. Take note, competitiveness, okay, has a good output. Okay, for example, pag merong competitor, the services and the products of each competitor will keep on developing. Okay? 'di ba? Pag nagde-develop po tayo ng mas magandang products, okay, na wala pa sa merkado and even in other foreign nations, okay, we can have the importation and exportation of that particular products. Take note, importation and exportation is very important also in the economy. So, business is very important for economic development. It may minimize, if not eliminated, yung tinatawag nating mga inflation and deflation on economics. Okay? So, that ends my discussion related to lesson 1. Hopefully, meron po kayong na-catch up on lesson 1 of chapter 1, the nature and forms of business organization. Thank you and God bless everyone.